All right, guys, welcome back to the Shift Points podcast, where we talk about the Southeast Gassers Association. I'm here with Randy Edmonds, as always, race director for SEGA. Randy, you guys just came off of the Mahle Nationals at Knoxville Dragway. Yeah. We just learned how to say this today, so apparently we've been saying it wrong for years. Apparently it's pronounced Mahle, according to Clay Milliken that we saw today, instead of Molly, like we have. As far as I know, my entire life I've said it that way.
I'll have to say I've never heard anyone pronounce it right.
I haven't either. No one. So anyway, the Mahle Nationals in Knoxville Dragway, I heard that it was a pretty busy, exciting weekend.
It was. We ended up having some rain again, so we had a couple of delays.
Yeah.
And Wes Clapp and Kristen Clapp, it was a great place. The scenery from the starting line is just absolutely beautiful over there.
It's a really nice racetrack.
It is, and I really love going there. They always treat us great. Wes was out there dragging the track while it was raining. It never really rained hard.
Really?
We never lost the track, but he was out there. I think he was in high gear on that Massey Ferguson.
No, really?
Dragging the track just wide open, up and down the track. And, it was just enough to keep us from racing,
Man.
So it started again at the beginning of A-Gas. We just keep seem to get A-Gas finished the first round, and then it got us again in the second round at A-Gas.
At A-Gas both times.
So anyway, but we got her in. We got her in again at about 7:30. I was concerned that we wasn't going to be able to go any further.
Do they have a curfew over there?
They don't have a curfew.
Okay.
They do have a curfew. We talked about it. They have a curfew at like 9 o'clock the next morning for church.
Okay, gotcha.
Gotcha. And then till 12.
Understood.
So, the neighbors probably wouldn't have liked it very well. But,
right.
But we got her in, and it went well. It was some really good racing. A lot of storylines from this race.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've seen a bunch, and I unfortunately wasn't able to be there, but it just seems like there's just a ton of stories out of this weekend.
Yeah, it's just like I was telling you earlier, you could really write a book, a short story or something on this race itself.
Right.
It was just
that jam-packed.
Yeah, so many things going on, so many different people running good and everything. Right. Just first off here, we didn't get you one of these last time.
Yeah.
That's from the Buckeye Nationals. I forgot to bring it to you what I didn't get Jaron to sign it.
Right.
So I got him to sign it.
I'm going to have to do some updates here on the background. I've got to pull them and do some updates.
Also, just go ahead and get that out there. Jaron bought Stud Muffin.
Okay. Really? Okay.
And showed up at Knoxville with it and ran really well.
Really? Cool.
He was a contender.
Gotcha. I didn't realize that's who had picked that car up.
Yeah, and he's tickled with it, and I think he's probably going to do really well in it.
Good.
He ran some really good times with it.
That's a neat car. It's just
it's really. It's two-time champion car.
Right.
Leslie won a championship in it, and Larry Floyd won a championship with the car. So it
can get down the track.
It's experienced.
Right.
So this is from the Mahle Nationals.
You're going to get it right. Mahle Nationals in Knoxville. Yeah, these. Yeah. Steven and the Southeast Gasser Gears crew, they just do such a good job on all of this. These are always so nice.
It's got two-time champion Tim Hall on there with Mahle sponsorship on his car.
That worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So
this next one that you have here, Steven, all of your posters are so good. They are so good, but this one is just next level good. As soon as I saw the picture of it, I thought, I cannot wait to see that in person, and it's a good one.
If you've never been to one of our events, you've got to go to see Alfred Adams and the Damn It Bob crew.
Yeah.
They're just natural comedians. Super guys. They'll help you do anything. But this is for the Dixie Nationals, our upcoming event.
Yeah, so we're getting this one a little early too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to be at Union County. So before we even dig into what all went on at Knoxville, we'll talk about that just a little. But so this is the first time that the Gassers have went to Union County, right?
No, it's not. They ran there 15, 16,
Okay,
somewhere
gotcha.
around there. They ran some points events
8 or
there.
9 years ago, okay.
And then in 19, exhibition at Still in Motion.
Okay, gotcha.
I was present for that. I wasn't working for Quayne at that time, but Terry and I went down for that.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't realize that.
Tony Brown is a manager there. We're looking forward to going there. We think it's going to be a really good event. It's a good track.
Yeah.
Lots of room. Lots of room there and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard my old boss, he run his top sportsman car there before. He said it was a really nice facility.
It is. It sure is.
Really nice.
Yeah.
So that's great. And that's June 21st and the 22nd, right?
21st and 22nd.
Perfect. Yeah. So like I said, there's your little prequel. And definitely want to head over to the Southeast Gassers gear. I don't think he does the posters on the line. Is that right? He just does these in person?
I don't think he does, yes.
Okay. So you have to pick up one of these posters at the event, I believe. And he can put it in the comments if we're wrong there. But, yeah, these they're always just so good. And this one is really, really good. So.
They're only $5.
Really?
Only $5.
That's such a good deal.
And he normally has previous ones too that you can come from them.
Yeah.
Steven's knocking it out of the park. This is one of his new shirts right here.
Looks so good.
And he's got banners with this on it. Just came out today with a new design. We were talking about it earlier. It's black and white design.
Clean. It's just it's pristine.
Period correct.
Yeah. That's exactly.
But he's. Stephen does great. Just southeastgassersgear.com if you want to order anything from him or whatever.
And they're always set up at the track as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right. So you can pick all that stuff up at the racetrack. So good stuff. All right, let's talk about Knoxville. Let's start writing this book because, like I said, other than just what I've seen on social media, it's been a crazy time here at the shop. It's been really, really busy, and so other than just the little bits that I've seen on social media, this is all going to be pretty new to me too. So,
well, first off, Mahle was our sponsor there, and also for a consolation race, Powerhouse Diesel, Travis Walker, great kid. He jumped right on board to do that. He did that as our last Knoxville race. We ended up having to do away with the consolation race.
Because of the rain?
Because of the rain and time constraints, and we wasn't sure whether it was going to rain again. Right after the Victory Lane celebrations, it started raining again.
Okay, so it was a good call on that then.
And but Powerhouse Diesel in Knoxville is his business, and we had the money that we were going to dole out for the consolation race, and I was going to give it back to him. So I got with Wes, and I said, hey, see what Travis wants to do here. So he came to me, and he says, I don't want the money back. He said, just go ahead and give it to the winners of the other classes.
Oh, okay.
So it was the same 4 classes. He said, just put that money in with them.
Oh, cool.
So that's what we did. We just added it to the purse for them.
Very neat.
And but XS Power Batteries has come on to help us some, and they're doing some $400 gift certificates that's going to go to the champions.
Okay.
They also have gave me some other gift certificates to give out during the year. We were going to also give a $100 gift certificate to the consolation races. We'll just move that out to the next race.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
perfect.
we'll do the consolation race, plus we'll give them a $100 XS battery gift certificate.
Cool.
But Jed Emert there, and what he did at this race, they're out of Knoxville, and he and I were talking. He said he would like to do something for us. And so he gave us jump boxes, the little small jump boxes.
You were telling me about those.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
They're great. I have one. And
you said you hadn't used it needed a jump box for years, and then as soon as he got that one, you've used it like 4 times or something.
I used it 4 times at Shady Side.
At Shady Side.
At Shady Side, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Quayne was jumping his truck off, and I come by and saw him over there, and he wasn't having any luck at it. Yeah. And I said, well, let's try this. And he just kind of looked at me, and we hooked it on, and it fired it right up.
That's awesome.
But
and he's over there ordering one as soon as he got in the truck.
But we gave all 4 of the winners one of those this past race.
Great.
So it's pretty good purse this last race for them. We ended up with 2 AFX cars, the Platt guys, Platt boys. So it was Platt and Platt, the Falcon and Nova, and we didn't get to complete their runs because of the rain also.
Right.
We would have, but they had already loaded the cars because there was a lot of people was loading up and thought we were done.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, but and then going into H-Gas.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but did Rocky put up something? He had was it a grandson or somebody in the car? His son. Okay.
His son, which was a 3rd generation Platt.
Right.
He made some passes in the car, or they did some burnouts and did just went through the gears and stuff.
Just kind of get him comfortable.
Yeah, just get him to just get him a little seat time in the car. Go through the gears, go down the track. Kelvin Cannon was in the car with him.
Okay.
And as far as I know, he had never did anything like that.
Cool. That's great.
It was really a really cool moment.
You could tell, and that's why I wanted to mention it, is because you could tell he'd put up that post. He was really proud of it, and I thought that was really neat. Like you said, a 3rd generation in the car.
We have a lot of that in Southeast Gassers.
Yes, you do.
I mean, it's amazing how much of that we've got. And but yes, it was very, very good that he got to do that.
Cool.
H-Gas. Robert Frazier again and Doug Loudermilk. We also had a new driver show up this weekend, Sean Landis, in I think it's a 65 Fury.
Okay.
And drives it on the street. And he had a good time.
Nice.
He had a good time. I really didn't get a chance to talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
But that was another new driver.
Cool.
We had several new drivers this past week. Superstock, Jerry Dean, #1 qualifier again. Actually lowered the record again.
Really?
Yeah.
He's on a tear, man.
He is. They work hard. They work really hard. Randy Kiefer, runner-up again. So it's been that way.
You two again.
It's been that way. And that puts the bounty for Jerry Dean up to $300 for the next race.
Gotcha.
So we had started out, I think, with 11 cars, and then we had 2 or 3 that didn't show up. So in H-Gas we had some that didn't show up, and then we had a couple that didn't show up in Superstock. So, but we did have a new car in there. It was Ronnie Jones in a beautiful '67 Camaro.
Cool.
Maroon, called Crimson and Clover.
Okay.
That's it's an old Tommy James and the Shondale song. So,
I wouldn't
be. I don't have the tune
in my head, but I know I've heard of the song.
Yeah, yeah, that was probably in the late '60s. But he qualified 7th out of 10 or 11 cars. So
okay.
Not bad, and ran good. He showed up at our last race in Knoxville, but he had some transmission problems and didn't get to go. So, but he was happy to be there.
Yeah.
Great guy. They had just an absolutely beautiful little Camaro.
Yeah, I have to look and see if he's on social media. I don't know if I saw it or not.
Yeah, it's a good looking car. Going into Seagas. This is the Mahle Nationals. Tim Hall with their sponsorship was Q1. 2-time champion. Been struggling a little bit trying to get the handle on a new combination.
Okay.
But he was #1 qualifier. Went on to meet Scott Wallace in round 2. Scott Wallace in the Indian Express Pontiac.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful car. This family comes from Wisconsin. Sheila and Jeffrey, and they have worked their tails off on that car.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when they first came, and struggled learning how everything works and everything,
right.
to get everything to working like it should, and they're there.
Yeah, okay.
They're there. I mean, he actually took Tim out 2nd round.
Really? Okay.
And and then he went on to get taken out in the third round by Billy Wilson, who was the eventual winner.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so
if you're gonna get beat by the winner.
Yeah. So Wilson was the winner in Studebaker truck.
Okay.
Troublemaker, under new management, Troublemaker truck, and he hadn't won in a while. He's won a few races, but he hadn't won in a while. It's good to see Billy run good, but also Diana Castro.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is what I was talking about, all the different storylines in here. Diana Castro, last race, she run her best ever, ran good, almost got Todd Oden in the last race. You know, Todd kind of slept a little on the tree. She cut a good light on the tree, and he had to play catch up.
Yeah, that's a big gun. Todd's car's is fast. Yeah.
Yes. And so, you know, another personal best this time.
Awesome.
And so she's running better and better, and she's determined. You know, I mean, first round she took out a always tough Josh Pruitt. You know, Josh Pruitt's a potential winner anytime they're on the property.
Right.
I'm not sure what happened there. I think he fell off down the track and didn't make a complete hard hit. But then she goes on to take on Alfred Adams in the second round, and Alfred red lights. And Alfred, that's the Damn It Bob car.
Right, yeah.
And Alfred has got Fulton horsepower now, Fulton power now, and he is running better.
Yeah. That's
another story where, you know, in there that Alfred has been running really well. And then she gets a bye and then ends up getting Todd in the semis. And still it was a fairly close race.
Close race, yeah.
You know, with Todd in the semis. And Todd goes on to have to run Billy Wilson in the finals, and then Billy takes him out, and he gets the bounty money from Todd's past two races.
Okay,
wins,
right,
you
yeah.
know, so he ended up getting the money there.
Yeah.
And I've already spoken a little bit about Jaron Purdue getting a stud muffin car, and he ran really well. You know, I mean, he was, you know, he ran right in there with Todd and Billy as far as times and Tim. They were all within just a few hundreds as far as times.
Yeah, I feel bad. I spoke to Chris the previous race in Ohio, and he had said that he had been there. Chris with Frankenstein. Yeah, and he told me, he said, make sure when you talk to Randy to talk about Diana and Dana and that car. He said, it's looking really good. And that was in Ohio. Yeah. And I completely forgot to bring it up. And then I saw how well they had done this weekend. I said, we'll make sure it gets covered this time.
I guess it was Friday night that she was out there, and she stood it up. I mean, you know, she turned it up, left hard, stood it up, and she kind of missed timing on second gear, went to third gear, and never pulled fourth gear. She went all the way through in third gear.
Right? Yeah. Gotcha.
But she's running better and better. She's determined. She's coming.
That's good.
She's coming. You know, I mean, they've probably still got. They've just been turning this engine up a little more. You know, putting a little more time into it, and just different things. Right. You know, and stuff. So.
And I think I saw on her post that she put up when she eventually wins one of these events, she'll be the first lady in Southeast Gassers to win a race. Is that true?
Yes.
Right.
And there's also money up there. Quain's put money up for the first lady that ever wins also.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I think there may be some other people that's going to add to that.
Okay, cool.
So.
And I say this, and if you're watching this, you say, well, you know, you might be not that surprised there hadn't been a lady winner. There's a lot of lady racers in Southeast Gassers, and so that's why I was surprised to hear that there hadn't actually been a winner to that point, and that's why I bring up the topic.
Well, what Quain has done is put this money up in memory of Cynthia. And Cynthia knocked on the door.
Yeah.
She knocked on the door. She was close several times.
Gotcha.
And we've got some ladies in there, and hopefully there's more coming.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha McLemore was back this weekend. That they've not got a really powerful engine in her car at this point. But she's getting better all the time.
Right.
You know, from her first few passes, she was surprising her first pass to me.
Right.
You know, and but she's got a lot of good teachers out there with her brother and her husband and stuff. But Taylor Bright, which has not raced any with us this year,
I didn't think
she's
so.
kind
Yeah.
of taking some time off.
Gotcha.
Here. And
she told me I wasn't allowed to come to the racetrack anymore. The 2 times that I came, she broke something. So she told me I wasn't allowed to come anymore, that I was bad luck.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, you know, a jinx is a jinx.
Yeah. But if you look at C-Gas, I just kind of went through today thinking and looking at the past winners and the ladder sheets and stuff at the times people's running, our previous winners and everything. We've probably got 10 possible winners in C-Gas every week.
Gosh, 10 contenders.
And you know, I mean, if you think about it, if you're running within a couple of tenths, you've got a chance.
Oh yeah.
You know, if so, you know, if you look at the times from Todd's got the record back a couple of tenths. There's 10, maybe 12 cars that could fall in there and get one.
Man,
you know, if everything fell into place.
Right. That makes for some very interesting points deals,
Yes.
you know, as the season goes along.
It sure does.
That's great.
And that's another thing too, you know. I mean, the points this year's going to be worth more than they've ever been.
Right.
You know, you're not putting anything out at this point, but just like the excess batteries throwing stuff in there, you know, and Mickey Thompson Tires is going to give all the champions a set of tires, and you know,
that's a lot, yeah.
And then you know what's going to be put in there other than that and everything, you know. It's going to be the best ever, you know.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And pay back further than it's ever paid before, also.
That's great.
You know, so it's going to be really good, you know. I mean, it's going to those next levels. Going to those next levels. But if you look at C-Gas engine builders for C-Gas, you know, you got Dwayne Bush, which is I'm not sure if he does everything on the Josh Pruitt car, but he's heavily involved in it.
Okay.
And that car's a screamer, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they turn it hard. And it's staying together.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's a big thing. And then you got, you know, in the past, Todd Oden has, you know, he runs One-Way Technologies, Jeff Jones engines. And they had some dependability issues year before last, and they finally found out exactly what it was, and they fixed that. So the dependability's back, and he's running good.
Yeah.
They're able to, you know, get more, I guess, more time on the track and get more things figured out. So that's one thing that's helped them run better. But they got 2 wins in C-Gas.
Right.
And then this weekend we had a Fulton engine.
Right.
So, you know, we've got
What a spread.
a Windsor-based Ford, small block Chevy from One Way, and small block Chevy from Fulton.
Gotcha.
You know, so, you know, there's diversity there.
I love that. And it's something that we've talked about before, but not only the diversity of cars, but like you said, just the spread of how many people are involved in this. You know, you look at NHRA and stuff like that now, and the cars look the same, and basically the motor combinations are the same, and then you come to an event like you, there's a reason why guys like Clay Milliken are interested in what you guys are doing because of things like that. You show up and you've got all these different motor combinations and all these different cars, and it's just neat. And everybody's having fun.
And then, you know, I mean, we just talked about three different ones right there in C-Gas, but there's many others out there too, you know, that build these engines also. You know, we've got the Bennett small block Ford that's coming out of Alabama. You know, we've got I can't remember who's building Larry Cummins engines now. Someone out of Mississippi, I think, you know.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, there's a lot of different ones out there building these engines, you know. Jeff Taylor out of Indiana is building Rick Varner's big block now.
Okay.
And that's something that's different in B-Gas. You know, no one runs a big block.
Right.
He's doing pretty good with a big block in
Right.
there. You know, I mean, everybody was kind of wondering how it would do, but I mean, you know, he's actually doing pretty good with a big block in there. And he actually built a big block for Kenneth Phillips. But Kenneth had his small block back in this weekend, and he was number one qualifier in A-Gas.
Yeah.
You know, he was fast all weekend. But you know, there's a lot of different engine builders out there that's doing a lot of different stuff. I'm sure, you know, to get the horsepower.
Right.
That,
It would, and it's one of those things you'd love to kind of know. You're not going to know. I mean, you know, but like these guys are trying to get to the same place, but you know, they might be doing it in completely different ways. You know, looking at like a small block and stuff. It's like, how are they? What combinations they running to get speed? And everyone's a little different. That's cool too.
Oh, and you got Scott Duggins and Par Racing engine. You know, I mean, Gene Fulton's one exit and he's the next exit.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're right there together. You know, and those engines are amazingly close on how good they run together. You know, Chase Howard runs Par. Mm-hmm. Leslie runs Fulton.
Right.
You know, Kenneth's got a Fulton small block. He's got a Jeff Taylor big block. Ben Christopher's got a Par big block. You know, Barry Lynn's got a Par big block.
Okay.
You know, so there's a lot of different things out there. And then you got Gabriel's 475, which is John Causey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which it's you know, I mean, he's the best of the best on the Ford stuff.
For sure.
I mean,
yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. But a lot of different stuff there. You know, and then that's more of those stories of Southeast Gassers.
Mm-hmm.
And just while we're on C-Gas here, you know, Dylan Horton. Mm-hmm. DH Media just did a great interview with Todd Oden.
I haven't got to watch it yet, but I've seen the teasers and stuff. Yeah,
but it's really good, and he's going to be doing more of those. You know, you guys should go and look, and you can kind of get a personal side to these guys.
It's really important. Yeah, that's really important.
It is. You know, I mean, it's the Oden family is great. You know, all of these families, you know, and I've said that over and over on here before, you know, just how great of families they are, just what a family atmosphere it is and stuff. It really is. You know, I mean, everybody has their little moments where they kind of get aggravated at somebody or something, but
just
you don't
like family.
But you don't see it escalate in Southeast Gassers like it does in some places. You know, I mean, it's not like dirt tracking.
No, that's the truth, and we've talked about that before. Me and Dad having stuff. It's like you go to some of these places, and honestly, it's bad. You know, I go spot sometimes. It feels like some of these guys that run circle track stuff. It's like they're looking for a fight. They're ready to fight better more than they are to race. Well, and that's just no good for anybody, you know. No. When you have to kind of be, you know, looking over your shoulder.
We got one guy that races with us that told me, he said that he used to run some dirt stuff, and he said, I just got tired of sore knuckles and busted lips.
Yeah, right. Know? Yeah, it's fair. It's completely fair.
So, but yeah, go and watch Dylan's interviews and stuff. And while we're talking about that. The Power Tube TV episode 2 will be out June 11th at 8 o'clock.
Okay, cool. June the 11th.
And these are going to get better and better as they go. We should be watching a preview in the next couple of days on it, on the second episode, which will be Shady Side.
Okay, right.
And also there's going to be and it's already there really, but there's not a whole lot on it. There's going to be a Southeast Gassers channel that's going to have things on it like interviews and things like that, you know, and advertisements for our sponsors.
Be great.
You know, we need to figure out, make sure that we pronounce Mahle.
Right. There's going to be a lot of editing to do when it comes to that one, maybe.
But anyway, they'll probably get some publicity out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody
in the whole country's like, huh.
Anyway, going into B-Gas, Ted McKee, number 1 qualifier, goes on to win the race. Daniel Haynes, number 2 qualifier, goes on to be runner-up.
Man.
lot of good cars in B gas this weekend, running well. Got to mention Ken Rainwater. He's picked up and running better. Looks like the Ken Rainwater of old. The car's leaving hard. A lot of people don't realize it or know, but in practice at Shadyside on Friday night, the car just turned right and hit the wall hard.
Okay.
And hurt the car a whole lot worse than people thought.
Okay.
They have worked really hard on that car, straightening frame and just different stuff. It bucked quarters on it. It did a lot. Tore up some high-dollar magnesium wheels, and it did a lot to the car. And they worked their hind end off to get the car back. And we've never really mentioned or talked much about it. I was planning on talking about it in the driver's meeting and got off on something else and didn't talk about it. But he and his crew have done a lot to get that car back where it's at.
That's great.
And he looked good this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it happened.
Yeah,
I did not know.
Yeah, he loaded up and left
really?
After that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it sounds like he probably didn't have much option, man. That's big hit. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have stuck around and, got some points just for crossing the line coming out of the staging for qualifying, but they wanted to go home and get started on the car.
Right.
Because it was hurt pretty bad. Bill Revels ran really well this weekend. They've come on something there. The car was really hooking too hard. It was standing straight up, and they were trying to get it calmed down a little bit, but the car looked really well. He's another one that's coming.
Yeah.
Bill's gotten better and better and better. Maybe with some gear changes and stuff there, he's going to be right there.
Yeah.
There's multiple ones in that. There's probably 8 or 10 cars there that's possible winners in B gas.
Right.
But I guess the big story of B gas this weekend was Michael Oden. Third generation, came in with, it's the old Annie Bird junkyard dog car.
Okay.
And they had purchased this from Danny several months back. Kind of some secret stuff went on there for a little bit, but had Jeff Jones working on the engine for it. And Todd came out. The car's beautiful. Gold and black.
I saw it.
Double down 2. Odin and Son Racing on the fender. And, of course, big one-way technology stickers on it and stuff, or painted lettering on it. But Todd brought it out. It's Michael's got some experience in the Camaro and in super stock. But Todd wanted to shake the car down, so he made kind of a little hit in it, and then he came back out and he run like a 584 in the car.
Oh, wow.
This is the first hard hit on the car.
Yeah.
And then Michael got in the car, and he made a little, I'm not really sure exactly how it all went down, but he ended up running a 74.
Whoa.
Which some of you may not know, but Danny held a record in B-Gas for years at a 75.
Really?
And that was back before we did like a 75 with a 5 or whatever, it was just a 75. So it could have got broken several times. I know Wayne Swafford run like a 75 flat one time, we never knew what that other number was. And it wasn't really, the records didn't show it at that time.
Gotcha.
So, I think Colby may have run right in there, and Daniel Haynes, and several of them. Maybe T.J. York ran in there too. There were several of them that ran right around the 75s, but Danny still had the record because there wasn't no third digit.
Gotcha.
There.
Right.
So, but Danny held a record for a long time in that car, and then. Was one of his first really good full passes out there. He runs a 74.
That's wild.
So before the day was over, he ran a 70.
Wow.
I'm not sure what it was 70 with what, but but he looked really good, really confident.
That's the you have to be, man, to jump out there and make a pass like that. You'd have to be pretty comfortable with it.
Car was leaving beautiful, straight, staged well. I was standing up there watching him, just looking right in the window at him. I mean, there was confidence there. He was staging well, and then I guess he went all the way to the semis. His first race in the car. The car got a little out of shape out there, and he did what he should have done. I mean, he clutched it, got out of it, and lived to race another day.
That's right.
So
it sounds like the car is good enough to handle that.
Yeah,
so
so
it'll be back.
But he done well. He done really well.
Yeah, that's super
weekend.
cool.
And then looking at B gas, I mean, you got some of these cars haven't been showing up to every race. Kobe's missed a couple of races here now. Kevin Burst missed a couple of races. But you've got, if you look at all the cars, like I was talking about before, there's at least 10 possibilities of winners in that class also.
Right.
So, it's and what really got me to thinking about this was I had a guy call me out of Georgia. He's an old, I won't call him name. He's an old pro mod racer that he's building a car to come race with us. Everybody will know him if I said his name probably, but he's serious about coming. He's building a Nova probably right now just to kind of get his feet wet, but he's always raced Fords and Pro Mod, and that might reveal a little bit, but he'll eventually be running a Ford with us.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, we're looking forward for him coming out with us, and he's excited about it. But he was saying, he said, I want to come and be competitive, he said, but it looks like y'all got at least 4 or 5, that could win any race. And I said, oh yeah, for sure, and maybe 5 or 6. And then I got to thinking about it and got to looking at the ladder sheets and stuff, and I'm thinking, we got more than that.
Bigger than that, yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, we've got guys that just on any given day, I mean, if everything falls away, and I know Quayne don't like to say luck, but I mean, there is an amount of that can fall into you getting to there. I mean, you've got to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be prepared. But
I mean, if one of the best out there happens to have a 003 red on you, or something, so that can put you one more step there, then you get a bye,
I'd rather be lucky than good any day. Me and Dad say it all the time.
And somebody gets loose and they have to get out of it. Right. I mean, it can put you there.
And we joke about it sometimes, but that's why we race, right?
That's it.
If we sat down and wrote down these numbers, it would probably fall, 9 out of 10 times fall to one person, or just a handful. But that's why we line them up in race, because that's you don't know what's going to happen between here and there.
That's exactly right. So. And it's just, you never know, I mean, who's going to run really good at any given race, and these guys and gals are getting better and better and better, just like Scott Wallace, and Diana, Alfred Adams.
Yeah, right.
I mean, these are some of the people that if you were number 1 qualifier. And we saw this actually a couple of races ago in NHRA Pro Stock when Erica probably pulled up there, and who you remember the guy's name in the first round?
No, I cannot.
I mean, he hadn't raced in like 19 years or something.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize that.
He was shaking down a car for somebody. I can't remember exactly who it was. But anyway, he's she just probably wasn't thinking, well, I can be conservative here and not cut a real close light and run him down.
At the bit.
And he's over there and cut an excellent light, and she couldn't catch him.
Couldn't get him.
I mean, much faster car.
Mm-hmm.
But those things happen.
That does, absolutely.
I mean, and just like I say, these guys have gotten better. Their game, they're stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
They're serious. You know, when they pull up there, they're ready to cut your throat, no
Right.
matter who you are.
And that's
you know?
and that having that mentality is a huge part of it, right? When you
It is.
when you make the decision of, okay, this is not just a hobby anymore. We're gonna go. We want to win this dang thing.
Yeah.
And when people like that are dangerous,
That's
when
right.
someone
Yeah.
that wants it more than you, those people are dangerous.
So I think maybe that they've caught some people off, just caught them by surprise here,
That's
and
good.
cut
Yeah.
a good light and running better and saying, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody starts going, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's for sure. Something I didn't mention on CCAS was Billy Wilson ended up having to change the transmission after qualifying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and what made me think of that is I'm getting ready to go into A-gas year. Leslie Horn broke a transmission, second round of qualifying, and they were telling me that with all the help and everything, they changed that transmission in 17 minutes.
Holy cow.
Changed the transmission in 17 minutes. I heard that they were changing the transmission, and I'm thinking, we're getting ready to start. A-gas is the last one, if they come up last or whatever. And but they'll be all right. Well, next thing I know, I hear they're already done and the car's over there in the lanes and
That's
stuff.
wild.
So and I don't know what the story is on Billy, but I mean, but I saw this happen several times over the years. I've saw somebody break a rear gear or something, and you see 6 feet, 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. They're working on somebody's car,
Right,
and stuff.
yeah.
So that's probably some of the same
Did
things.
Leslie
that happen.
have a spare, or did they actually pull that one and repair it and
No,
put it back?
they had a
Okay,
spare.
okay.
They had a spare.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's
I'm
even
not really
crazier
sure.
if
He
that's
may
true.
have. I know he may have borrowed one from.
Gotcha.
But I think he's got one. But a lot of times the gearing's different or something in one, and there's a possibility he may have had. Chase Howard's, and then they ended up running. But I'm not sure about that.
Right, yeah, I got
I'm
you.
not
It
sure about that.
Doesn't really matter.
But I
I was just curious.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. But Kenneth, number one qualifier, was small block back in his car. Got the Fulton small block back in there. Had something with the big block. They were doing something to it or something. But anyway, he told me on Friday that he had tested some earlier in the week, and he said, my small block's flying.
Yeah.
He said, it's running good. And then, I mean, he goes out there and shows it.
Yeah, right.
So.
That makes you, I imagine that makes you kind of go, should I just leave this in?
And then there's this, and this goes back to, Quayne saying, it's the most penalized combination in Southeast Gassers. But if you look at it, we've had 2 small blocks win in A-gas. We've had Gabriel win in A-gas with the Kazi big block, and now we've had Leslie win with a Fulton big block.
Right.
So there's some more of that.
A lot of diversity in
and
motors there.
two, another thing is the engine that's in Quayne's car is Kenneth's previous engine.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, and I think they're the
forgotten
same
that.
cubic inch. I think they're both 385s.
Okay.
I think, but so there you are.
It just cracks
you
me
got
up like this community of parts. It's like everybody kind of pulls from this pool of parts, is what it seems like. Because this motor will leave this car and it'll go to this car, or this transmission will go here and there, and it's. It's just funny to me to hear that whenever it's like, this one came from so-and-so's car, and then you go, why did they pull it? Like, what was their reason for pulling it? Did they just make an upgrade, but then it goes and wins a race or whatever? It's just funny.
Quayne goes out and takes Leslie out with Kenneth's old engine.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but it's all good stuff. Everybody works together and helps each other. It's amazing how much everybody helps each other. It's and then Chase Howard. Everybody knows what happened to Chase in Ohio. He lost the car, headbutts the wall hard, destroys this car. It was a whole lot worse than people thought.
Really? Okay, because the hit that I saw, it didn't look that bad.
Oh, it was bad.
I did not realize.
It bucked the quarters.
Really?
That's how hard it hit. It bucked the quarter panels. It broke the engine and bell housing, transmission, and stuff loose.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a lot of stuff happened there. They ended up having the chassis on a frame machine.
Man.
Straightening everything out, and they put some more braces in and everything. Well, he's number 2 qualifier.
It's a pretty big game there.
And I will say, as the power wheelies that he was pulling is probably as pretty as I have ever saw, other than, I saw Ben Christopher do this, but his this weekend, and I mean, it was one after another. I mean, he was just carrying them out,
right.
And the car looked great. Straight. They figured out that maybe there was some twist in the old frame.
Okay.
And several different people had worked on that, from what I've been told now, on that chassis in that car, and before they got it. And there was just some things that needed to be added to it after they got into it, and they saw what happened to it.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
But the car ran great. I think he was, like I say, he's number 2 qualifier.
Right.
And he ended up runner-up.
Yeah.
So, in those, I talked to him 2 days. I guess I talked to him on Tuesday or Wednesday, 2 or 3 days before the race. Mm-hmm. And he said he hadn't worked in 4 weeks.
Whoa.
He said he hadn't worked in 4 weeks. Bonnie Jones, which is his fiance, she works for us in the tower.
Okay.
And she told me on Friday or Saturday that the first time she'd got to talk to him much since he wrecked was on the way to Knoxville.
Wow.
So they worked hard.
Yeah.
Tim, his dad, and a lot of different people, his brother, they all worked hard on that car.
Wow.
And just like the Ken Rainwater deal, I mean, these guys work hard to come out here and do what they do.
Right.
And it's just amazing what the commitment that these guys put into this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. Because I mean, I know the payouts are good, but it's not 4 weeks worth of work good. I mean, that's amazing.
And so Gabe missed our last race. Mm-hmm. Gabe comes in, qualifies 3rd with the freshened Kazi engine, from what I understand. Was a fresh and qualified engine. And then he goes out in the first round. I'm pretty sure it's the first round. Yeah. Yeah, he goes out in the first round and runs under the record. And but wasn't able to back it up.
Back it up.
He got crossed up later in the race and didn't make a full run there. But he was running good. Now, I thought he was a threat. Mm-hmm. I mean, he always
is. Every time he unloads that thing, man.
But he ran well. The car looked good. First pass in qualifying, he blowed the tires off from it, kind of went left. But then after that, the car was just a rocket, looked like.
Right.
And like I say, qualified 3rd, and then he goes out and runs under the record the first round. And so he was right there. And then, of course, Leslie was a winner. That's his first win this year.
He wasn't at all excited about it, was he? I can't imagine he was at all excited.
Well, I didn't get to talk to him much. We went and met with the track owners after that and everything, and he really didn't say much about it.
Really, it's pretty okay.
We were doing the checkup and and all that and everything and stuff, and we talked a lot about the business end of Southeast Gassers and stuff like that, but there really wasn't a whole lot said about the racing.
I thought he would have been pretty excited about that.
But he was about, and I did talk to him out in staging lanes before they was going to Victory Lane, and he was excited because Logan was there.
Oh, okay.
And Logan was thrilled,
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, Logan was there for the last win.
Gotcha.
His last win, and Logan was really, and it's great to see Logan. I hadn't saw Logan in a long time. First race he's been to this year, and So there was a lot of excitement there. There's talking to his mom and talking to his grandmother, Leslie's mom, and stuff on the phone and stuff when I was out there with him.
That's great.
But
did I see he tore a ligament or something in his knee pushing the car he'd put on Facebook or something?
It was in his calf. I think.
His calf. Okay.
I think it was in his calf or something there. I know he was. If you watch that video, you can see it happen.
Oh, you see it happen, yeah, immediately.
Yeah, you can see it happen, and but I talked to him earlier this evening on the way out here, and he didn't mention it. I know he had went to the chiropractor or something on Sunday. He'd went to see somebody on Sunday, and I don't think there was anything torn.
Gotcha.
That's what they said, but he didn't mention it today when I talked to him. That's the first time I've talked to him this week.
Because it looked like it was in his left foot, and I saw, or in his left leg, and I thought, I was like, man, that, that's, if that was something was torn or something, that'd have to be hurting driving that car.
Yeah, but I reckon he's doing okay there.
Good,
he didn't say anything about it. He didn't whine about it anyway. But I said that was the first time we talked this week. I think we talked on Monday about the upcoming race at Union. But going back into what I was talking about, the possible race winners, there's easily 8 or so in A-gas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to start naming names, but you can just look down the list of who's there and who's won before and who's knocking on the door.
Right.
I guess if you look at say 8 of these that I've got wrote down here, 7 of them's won.
Right. Yeah.
So that there's and then we've got the Mike Sward, Alan Pittman car coming. So we know that's going to be a good car.
Right.
We've got Brad Henry coming out of Knoxville with another Willis, and the Sward cars at Willis also. Both of those with Fulton horsepower. And then you've got the Scott Budlich, hope I'm saying that right, Willis that's coming out of Alabama with Bennett small block Ford.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's probably going to be a strong car also. From what I understand, those guys have got a really big racing background.
Right.
And then the guy that I was talking to about that's an old pro mod racer, if he doesn't, when he comes out with a Nova, he may, it's just according to what he comes up with engine-wise where he lands there. Mm-hmm. But when he comes out with his Ford, it's going to be an A-gas.
Gotcha.
And it'll be Kazi.
Okay.
Kazi used to build his engines for Pro Mods.
Okay.
So it'll be a Kazi engine car there. So, A-gas is looking strong.
Yeah.
Really
that's a big
strong.
Expansion. You just named 4 people off right there off the top of your head. And that's it's big.
Yeah, that's and we had a full field this weekend. We had 16 cars this weekend. So,
what will you guys do if you get more than 16? Will there?
We did. We had how many do we have in? We had 17 in C-gas.
Okay.
And this weekend we just add another round.
That was what I was about to ask.
Just add another round.
That's what I figured, but I was curious about how you handled that.
We had
I didn't figure you wanted to send anybody home.
No, we don't. We had 17 in B-gas.
Okay.
But if you look at what we did in the past, we've had as much as 23, 24 before in a class.
Okay.
So B-gas used to be really strong. A lot of things going on, with different people, different things, life happens, and then the economy. And,
it's kind of a crazy time, right now.
It is, there's a lot of things going on in this world right now that's keeping people from doing the things that they want to do.
For sure, absolutely.
Just different circumstances, that's keeping some people away right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Jerry Birch had shoulder surgery, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Troy Leitner had shoulder surgery. That's 2 cars that would normally be there.
Yeah. How's Larry Noel doing?
Larry is doing. I talked to Larry week before last, and You call him up on the phone, he answers the phone, and he sounds no different.
Good.
Sounds no different. Someone was, who was it? I can't remember. Someone told me that they talked to him the other day and he's bush hogging or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
he must be feeling pretty good then.
My thoughts, Larry, is if you can bush hog, you can drive that little pony.
I won't get into that.
Sandy might have something to say about that.
That's fair.
But anyway, he's Larry's tough. He's going to be fine.
Good.
I mean, he says he's going to be fine and stuff there. The doctors are working with him, and they tell him he's going to be okay also.
Awesome.
Good. So Larry's we're looking forward to him getting back. We also got, that's H-Gas car. We've also got Ron Allison, and that's another one that I didn't mention much. Ron's gone to C-Gas, and Ron ran some good times this weekend. I don't want to rattle those papers much. I'm sure that rattles them.
No problem.
But anyway, he ran some good times this weekend in the little Nova that looks like it's super stock Nova. A lot of people probably think it is,
really?
But it's
Okay.
not.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but he ran some pretty good times in that car this weekend. So, but he's also building an H-Gas Anglia.
Okay.
If some of you will probably remember the Anglia that Zach Hall had, that he and his father were building. And Ron ended up with it, and they're doing the little Pontiac Trophy 4 engine for H-Gas.
Okay.
And I think, I'm pretty sure that Colby's going to pilot it in H-Gas.
Cool.
So that's another H-Gas car coming. So, we got cars coming.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, we've got multiple cars coming, and so the future's bright.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, if we can just get this economy turned around, and maybe get gas prices back to where they ought to be.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I was just looking today at it costs a lot to go to a race.
Yes.
If you think about what it costs to pull a trailer and and everything and stuff, it costs a lot of money.
That's the thing. I mean, that part of that side of racing, a lot of people don't think anything about. They're like, "Oh, they've got so much money in the car." I'm like, "Well, yes, but you got to think about trailers, trucks, gas to get there, all the other equipment. If you take a golf cart, I mean, you add on to it. And
Exactly.
It's might as well just be a big infinity sign.
But anything you do, it's just, and I won't call his name. It's a buddy of mine that bass fishes. He pro bass fishes some.
Okay.
And he's got probably a $70,000-$80,000 boat and pulls it with a $70,000 or $80,000 Dodge truck.
Right.
And no telling how much he's got in his fishing rods, and it don't cost. It's not cheap to get there.
Nothing. I mean, nothing is. I mean,
and
nothing ever has been, but nothing, especially right now, it's not.
Yeah. And that's something I asked him the other day. I said, "Well, how much did it cost you to?" He said, "I placed." And I said, "Well, how much did you win?" And he said, $800. And I said, "Okay." I said, "How much did it cost you to enter?" $300.
All right, cleared 5.
But I mean, what it costs to get there.
Right.
So and you got all that money in there. And he just recently blew an engine on his boat, and it was, north of $10,000 or $12,000 for the engine for his boat.
Wow.
So so anything you do costs a lot of money.
For sure.
You can spend a lot of money golfing.
Oh yeah. These guys spend crazy money golfing.
You can spend a lot of money trout fishing or anything you do. So it's all in what you want to do. Definitely, and you know how it is with the round track stuff.
Yeah.
And you tear up stuff every week there most of the time.
Pretty much. Yeah. My guy, he's done good this year. I'll give him some credit.
Is he not racing?
We ain't qualified a single time. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah.
But he's tore up a lot of stuff in the past.
Oh yes, plenty.
But yeah, just like we say, it's just according to what you're doing, and how much money you want to spend.
That's it.
A lot of these guys are doing good on a lower budget.
Yeah.
You take some of these guys that we've talked about tonight, they're not spending near the money that some of these guys that are having a harder time getting by them.
Yeah, well, we talked about it last time we were sitting here. It's like money don't win races.
Yeah.
Just because you've got a lot or you've put a lot into a car, that does not guarantee you a win here in Southeast Gassers.
No, it does not. We've got some great guys that's spending a lot of money, but it's from the time you pull into that water box until the time you get to the finish line, there's a lot goes on.
A lot.
That can keep you from getting that win line.
100%. A lot you can do wrong, a lot that can go wrong on the car. I mean, there's, just the list grows.
Yeah. And knowing that this guy over here in the other lane is going to be trying his best to do everything exactly right also.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
It's good. And I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad it was a good weekend there over in Knoxville. I wish we could have been there for that one for sure. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to cover about Knoxville itself?
I don't think so. I think we've... And you know what? I left the tech report on my phone.
Left your phone in the truck. That's all right. Well, we'll get it covered next time. But but that's good. So, but everything's still going well with the tech stuff then.
It's going great.
Awesome.
They teched multiple cars this past weekend. They also gave out several more certification stickers, and saw several people posting pictures of them.
Good.
And stuff, and also. Just to kind of sum things up a little bit, we've got a shock claimer rule in Superstock.
Elaborate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what Superstock it had come to the point to where you had double adjustable shocks, people spending a lot of money on shocks.
Yeah.
And so the tech team decided over the winter to you had to do a steel tube 3-way adjustable shock.
Okay.
And they also put a $200 claimer on them.
Okay.
So
what does that mean?
That means that anybody out there can buy your shocks for $200.
Okay.
So we had that happen. As we were talking about, Jerry Dean has won all the races so far. Uh-huh. So we had someone come up and buy his shocks this weekend, claim his shocks.
I've never heard of this. This is very. I don't know.
I thought we probably talked about it.
No, that's why I was. I was so confused there for a minute.
Well, you got claimer rules and a lot of stuff, and sometimes in circle tracks.
I've never heard of this. This is a completely new thing to me.
Really? Well, in some circle track stuff, there's bounties or whatever on engines. Where you can buy somebody's engine for, say, $5,000. And that's the way they limit the classes and stuff.
I've never heard of this. This is very interesting to me. I'd never heard that. It's a neat idea.
It is.
It's a really neat
and
idea.
We have even, in the past, we have talked a little bit about maybe doing something, doing a class like that, where you could claim somebody's engine. Claim somebody's engine. $5,000 or buy somebody's engine, well, that would keep everybody, doing. It wouldn't be like A, B, or C gas, but do like another class and do it like a low budget class.
Gotcha.
Where you could do something like that. But anyway, what happens is the tech team will take those shocks and they'll go test those shocks on a shock dyno.
Okay.
If everything works out on the shocks, they'll go back to the guy that put up the $200.
Okay. This is I'm just kind of taking it in. I had never heard this.
The Jerry Dean got the $200.
Okay.
But if there's anything found wrong with the shocks, if they're illegal in some way, the tech group will keep those shocks, and the guy gets his $200 back.
Okay. So it's okay. Sorry, I'm really taking back. Just trying to take it all in there, thinking about that.
Go to the rules and read it.
I will. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that before the next time we're together.
It's in the Superstock rules, and I may not. I'm just off the cuff here. I may not be exactly right on everything the way it all works without it being in front of me.
Right.
I didn't write the rule myself or anything.
I'll have to read that. That's very interesting.
That did happen this weekend.
Okay.
And personally, I don't think that what Jerry Dean's doing is shocks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just hard work and getting things figured out.
Right.
And so
it's hard to win three in a row now, and it be one piece of the puzzle, or one piece being a shock.
Exactly, and
like we talked about, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and Super Stock is a growing class,
mm-hmm.
and there's still a lot of things that needs to be done in Super Stock. Super Stock started out to be just probably a 7.0, 720s class mm-hmm. or something, and it kind of got out of hand, and some things was done to try to reel it back in. They didn't really work, and just it's so really we're just kind of trying to figure out exactly where to go to get this class to where it's like the other classes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where we're not having to change rules all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the past few years, there's a lot of rules, inter-season changing of rules and stuff.
Gotcha.
And we just don't want to do that to the guys. We want to try to, put it out here. You take these rules. Jerry Dean they've got a background in drag racing.
Right.
They've been doing it a long time.
Right.
And he's an old circle track racer too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Karen. She's the daughter of Dennis Mitchell, which is 6-time IHRA champion.
Right.
So there's a lot of knowledge out there.
Sounds like it.
It's hard to beat knowledge and experience.
Yes.
You can take. If you give me a budget, and you give them a budget, on what you can spend this much money, and I can spend this much money. I'm not going to run with them because I don't know how.
Right. No, makes sense. Yeah.
So anyway, just like I say, we're trying to get Super Stock to where it's more like A, B, and C gas.
Okay.
And I'm a little concerned about H gas. That H gas could be hard to govern, I guess you could say,
okay.
because H gas, there's so many different variables out there, combinations. We're already seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
The Volkswagens, and really my concern in the beginning was how are we going to let everybody else run with these Volkswagens?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we've got what we're calling a Jeep engine that's just blowing them away.
Right.
We've got inline Chevys that can't keep up. We've got. Of course, Larry's got an inline Ford that we haven't seen what it will do yet.
Right.
But so, there's just a whole lot of different combinations,
Yeah, that's very true.
There's some slant sixes that's probably going to be coming and things in that. So H-gas can, it could turn out to be hard to parity, I guess. Hard to have parity in there because of the many different combinations.
Makes sense.
And it's the same way with Super Stock at this point.
Right.
And we have given some breaks. We've given the to try to get some of these other ones in there. We in some talks that we've had, we kind of feel like that maybe if someone come in with a lot of FE knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And money to put behind it, which it would take a lot of money and stuff.
Money.
That it could be the combination that runs with some of these others.
Right.
The FE stuff. But we haven't saw that yet. Also, there's Hemis
mm-hmm.
that there's rules in there for Hemis. We're not sure that a Hemi couldn't come in there and upset the punch bowl, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
or whatever.
right.
So there's a lot of different stuff out there. And it's and hats off to Quayne on what he's done on A, B, and C gas to get it as equal as they are.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. It is.
So. Well, good deal. So, all right. So, if that's everything from Knoxville, guys, remember you can head over to Union County Dragway on June the 21st to 22nd. You can pick up one of these awesome posters from Southeast Gassers Gear, and this will be the Dixie Nationals. And whenever you guys get done running that race, we'll be right back in here talking about it too. We'll give you the rundown on it and let you guys know how everything has turned out on that one too.
All right, we ran long on this one.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. There's a little longer one, but that's all right. We covered a lot of ground. So,
we did.
Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Make sure that if you to hit that subscribe button, that helps us out a lot, gets us in front of more people, and lets us keep making these videos and doing all this stuff, and we really enjoy it. I said earlier to reach out to Southeast Gassers Gear. Also, make sure you're following Southeast Gassers on all their social media pages, YouTube, DH Media. Dylan does all that stuff. Does all his videos. It's just next level stuff every time. PowerTube TV. You can already check out the first episode from I'm blanking from the first
Brainerd Motorsports
Brainerd.
Park. Yeah, Brainerd Motorsports Park.
You can check out the first episode from Brainerd, and then June 11th at 8 o'clock, we'll see the one from Shadyside. So make sure you're checking out all this. I'll tell you, there's just a ton of different places to consume this Southeast Gasser stuff, and it's really cool to see that. And we appreciate you guys that are doing it here on this channel, and it's a ton of fun to do it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.